Hello my actors and my actress, this is the Actor Dev, and on this video I want to talk about DDD, Domain Driven Design. And DDD is a way to model your application where you're going to follow the domain of your application. So before we start to talk about domain, we need to talk about something called Oblitio language. It's a common language that the business and the dev area is going to talk. So to have the same terms and you are going to have these terms inside your application. This is to avoid translation between text. So you're going to see your code, a business say that, so I need to translate for this entity. To avoid this kind of things, it's you're going to use this common language where whatever the business says, you're going to be inside your application. This is good because you have less overhead on on your head when you're develop something, and it's going to be avoid bugs in future or misunderstood, like business ask you to develop something, and because it's not the same in the code, people could understand it wrong. So yeah, and so the next part is domain. So what's the domain? It's a specific area of the application. So we can give a sample, for example, product. So you can have a product domain, you can have a category domain, category, and you can also have a order domain. So order. So inside the domain, you are going to have um, all your business talks and product should have a name. Name cannot be large than X amount, and a category should be valid. So like you're going to have a category here, and this category should be existing in category domain and others. When you're talking about domain, it's quite common, especially in large application. You have this scenario here. Uh, one application, one domain can touch other domain. So here, domain A, and you're going to have here domain B. So in this case up here, it's very clear what's category, what is product, and what is order domain. But sometimes you have this gray area here where you don't know where this part is going to fit. So who should dominate this area here? Should be inside A, domain A should be inside domain B. You need your business to help you to understand this. And sometime this could happen. You can have like another domain here, it's going to be domain C, and this domain here, it's going to take care of this gray area here. So there is no right or wrong. It's just depend how your view or on the domain and how the businesses develop it. Okay, so because we have the product domain, how we are going to represent, for example, product one or product two or product three. So we are going to represent this over aggregate hoods. Uh, yeah, so here you're going to have like aggregate hood for product one aggregate hood for product two, one aggregate hood for domain for category, and same for order. So this aggregate hood is going to represent a product, and inside your this aggregate hood is where you're going to put all your logic here. So aggregate hood will have a state, what I call here a state here, and this state can be only modifier by the aggregate hood. You should be able to change this outside. Why? Because this aggregate here, um, when you want to change state, normally it's because you want to make some iteration of the domain, and you need to ensure the business rule. So the aggregate hood is who's going to do this. You also can have something called value object, our object that doesn't have an ID. It's you have just a reference. It's clear, for example, on order, because on order sometimes you can need the address, for example, for shipping, and this address is not an entity. You have all information like line 1, line 2, post address, but you don't have an ID here. So one state cannot or have can or not have value object. Yeah. Once your aggregate hood make a change, it will generate an event here. So it's called domain event, and this event here, you can do inside your application fire this event, and other part of the application can handle this event. Also, saw some people already publish this event to a message gateway like Kafka or RabbitMQ. Message gateway here, and other application can handle this change. So yeah, this is the base for event, and the last one it's something called services. So you can have domain services. So what's this domain service? Let's suppose your application needs to access something that is outside of this state or outside of your domain. You need to access, for example, to a database access here. So let's do here database. So you need to do a database query. So your domain is going to call this database over this domain service. So this domain service came here, do the query, whatever they need, and return. Let's say, just in case in the future, you change this database for external call, external API. So you can just change the service and your domain is not going to be affected. And for the last, we have something here called repository. Repository. It's who's going to be responsible for load your application, your domain, sorry. So you say repository, I want a product domain product aggregator. He's going to the database, do the query that you need, and load this. So yeah, database here. Yeah. And so, but when we are talking about repositories and database, one domain doesn't mean one table. You could have multiple scenarios. In most simple case, one domain it's one table. There's a scenario where one table could mean multiple domains. So let's say we have a subdomain inside product like product, composed product and inner product. And a composed product is just a product, a specialization on product type, on product table. So depending on the case, one table can mean multiple domains, and at the same is true also. One domain could be represented for multiple tables. So it's going to depend the application by application and the business rule. So that's it for today. So this is my overview about domain-driven design. I want to make an example in code using C# and Elixir. Um, I hope everything is made clear and see you guys in the next video.